tell you this. I think 5A is tougher than doing 6A.
Oh, it's not even. Yeah, 5A is way tougher.
5A.
Except for one team in 5A at one of the levels, it's very, very hard.
So we're going to start 5A Division 1.
Yeah.
My number 3 contender, the Longview Lobos.
That is your number 3 contender.
That win last week, I think, showed guts. I think that they are primed for what could be a very deep run. I like the way that they are running the ball. I love the way their defense is playing. They got a tough game against Wiley this week, and then they'll probably draw Mansfield Lake Ridge in the regional final.
Right.
But I really like the way Longview is going, which is funny because beforehand I picked Mansfield Lake Ridge to come out of that region. But I don't know. There's something about this Longview team. I think, this could be 3A and 3B between Longview and Lake Ridge. Whoever wins that regional final, if they both get there. But right now, I really like the way Longview's playing defense. That's just me. Who's your number 3?
Okay. Well, my number 3.
Yes.
Temple Wildcats.
Okay.
I just don't. I mean, look, they've been there before. I think they've, for some reason, very quietly been mowing people down. I don't know what it is about that spot where Temple exists because they have a loud fan base. It's a great program. But it seems to sort of overlooked. It's like we're looking towards Houston. We sort of just miss the fact that Temple is nestled down there and in Austin and all that stuff. So Temple, clear number 3 for me. I feel here's the thing. We both agree this is the hardest to rank. But I feel very strongly about my 3 and Temple at number 3.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that you could have Temple, Longview, and Lake Ridge at 3, and I wouldn't fight you on it because I really think that
Wait till we get to number 1 then.
Temple, what Temple did last week, I think was so impressive with their win over Houston Stratford.
Sure.
And of all the games, listen, I'm going to admit when I'm wrong. I also want to admit when I'm right. I pretty much nailed that Temple Stratford game.
Yeah.
I said that it was going to be a low-scoring, close game, and Temple would win.
And they better offense, found one more touchdown.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Temple's very dangerous. I'm agree with you.
Okay.
Number 2 for me.
Yeah.
Team I've been on all year.
Yeah.
The Richmond George Ranch
Right.
Longhorns.
We actually agree on this one.
We both have them at 2.
Feel this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like the way that they've really taken care of business. The defense has been great. I love that running game shows up to the park every week. You don't have to worry about it. They're not sitting around waiting on that big play. Their win last week over Nederland was impressive just because the offense got way loose. And now we could be heading towards a Temple George Ranch regional final.
For sure.
Be super fun.
Yeah.
But I really like George Ranch, and I think that's the reason why I have George Ranch. I think that's the reason I don't have Temple in my top 5 or top 3 rather.
Right.
Is because I have George Ranch there. What about you? You've got George Ranch at 2 as well.
I do. I have George Ranch at 2. All the things you said. I also think, again, rabid fan base. They're ready for this. I think everyone's rallied behind them. Would not surprise me to see them make this run. Now, number 1 though. Number 1 is where we're gonna really, because at this point, if I don't have your number 1, I don't have your number 1 in the top 3.
So I've got Aledo.
You've got Aledo.
Because
No.
They've been the most dominant team in 5A.
Who have they played?
Yeah. Well, they smoked Everman, and last week they smoked a good Denton team.
This is the same Everman team that almost didn't make the playoffs.
They smoked a good Denton team.
Okay.
I mean, this team is dangerous. The way their defense has been playing has been superb.
Are you sure this isn't just a pick because
and also,
Aleto's
by the way,
used to being here?
Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry. Am I mistaken, or are they the 2-time defending champs and going for their 6th title in 7 years?
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. But at the same time, just because you've won all these ones before doesn't mean this group can do it too.
Okay.
I'm not saying they won't, but
you kind of are. Here's the other thing about it. They've got the easiest draw in their region.
Easiest draw for sure. But I've just been more impressed with some of these other teams. And my number 1, you're not going to be surprised by this.
I know who it is now.
Mansfield Lake Ridge, man. They are a offensive machine of death coming to conquer the world. Jet Duffy, Duke Carter.
That's fine.
They're coming for you.
I totally understand.
It's a new day in 5AD1.
And my feelings on Lake Ridge have been well documented.
Sure, but you don't even have top 3.
Yeah, they gave 51 points last week.
So they're going to outscore everyone.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Go ask how that's worked out for those 2007, 2008 Texas Tech teams.
Sure.
That worked out well for them, right?
Sure.
I love Lake Ridge. I really do. But I think they have a very tough draw because they've got to play a feisty Mesquite team.
I'm not saying those games will be easy for them.
Longview.
They'll be battle tested. They'll be ready.
Then they'd have to go through Aledo.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's what I like about George Ranch's draw is that they would not have to see Aledo until. You know what's funny is we didn't pick any of the 25-5A teams. No Vista Ridge, no Vandegrift. I'll tell you, you want a small upset alert? Watch out for Edinburgh Vela against Vandegrift.
Yeah, especially with some of the struggles that Vandegrift's had.
Just watch out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's not what that means. That doesn't mean that I'm picking it to happen. I'm saying just keep an eye on it.
My favorite part of people getting mad at you is they really go after you, and I really don't hear much when I pick against people.
You really fly under the radar.
Yeah.
Okay. 5A Division 2. Let's break down who's left in the 5A Division 2 brackets.
We're definitely more on the same page with these
You
teams.
can see this. You can see the brackets at texasfootball.com/playoffs.
Yeah.
We will start at number 3 for me.
Yeah.
Listen, if you knock out the team that I had going, if you knock out the team I had going to the state semifinal, then you get this spot, Fort Bend Ridgepoint.
Yep.
That win, I'll tell you this, that win over Crosby, one of the 2 or 3 most impressive wins in the state.
Yep.
And they didn't win. They
dominated.
They demolished them.
Yeah, it was a complete and total destruction. And at this point, I don't know about you, it's not to say we haven't noticed Ridgepoint down there, but I definitely feel a little guilty about not paying closer attention to this team because we've always known they're good. That's not the issue.
I think the bottom line of it was that we were like, okay, what's their draw going to be? We take a look at it and we're realistic about it. And
Crosby.
they go, they get Crosby in the second round? Well, that's church.
Yeah.
And then they go out there and smoke them.
Yep.
And you know what? Look at their draw. A&M Consolidated, we talked with David Raffield. They're going to be tough, and especially on 2 extra days.
For sure.
That's going to be tough.
That's a big advantage
But then they draw College Station or Angleton, and then they draw another team in the semifinals we'll get to. Who do you have at number 3?
So this is the 3 teams I feel like are toughest because you have your 1s, your 2s, and your third team is a team that you think could go on a run. So I went with Lancaster.
Okay. I know you've been on their bandwagon for a while.
Now here's why. And this, I'm going to admit fully out front, little bit of a personal bias, only in that I've seen them in person against Mansfield Timberview. And what keeps sticking out to me isn't necessarily their offensive playmakers, which they have, and Ryan Ross and Omar Manning. Sure. They have those. And they're prone to a little inconsistency, for sure. But, man, so many goal line situations in that game, and those Lancaster kids popped Timberview on the goal line. Needed to make a stop, did make a stop, and made it hurt. And I was so impressed by that if you're picking this fringe team on the third pick that can make a run, I still just kind of believe in them. I could see him having a bad game, and that would be it. But
they can have a bad game this week against Terrell. But
I think there's some intangibles here. I think I could see him making a run.
I'm going with a different team from that same region too.
Yeah,
I'm going with Marshall.
Yeah,
I'm a believer in what Marshall's putting down. I think that when you saw what they did last week to South Oak Cliff, a turbo fast South Oak Cliff team, and they just held them in check.
Right. That
was really impressive to me. With their defense. I love what Clint Harper's been doing. I really like, and I think that because they come from that left side of the bracket, it's a lot more wide open.
For sure.
I like Marshall. I really like what they've been putting down, and I think that, you talk about that, another big rabid fan base that would love to see a winner like this. So I've got Marshall at number 2. What about you?
This is where I have Ridgepoint, and this is me buying high on the stock right now. This is me saying, to beat the man, woo!
Yep.
You got to beat the man, and right now they're the man because we really felt like we were destined for Crosby in a state championship final.
Sure, we were certain.
And if Ridgepoint beat them that soundly, I got no business picking against them the rest of the way.
You're right. So now it's down to number 1, and I believe we have the same one.
I'm gonna guess,
Cedar Park.
Yeah.
I mean, they have done everything you've asked them to do and more. And let me tell you. We were talking about impressive wins. Obviously, Fort Bend Ridgepoint's win over Crosby certainly qualifies. Cedar Park absolutely clobbering Curve Hill Tyvee with defense is remarkable. I mean, that is like your eyes get as wide as saucers.
And you're not even surprised. Neither of us are surprised by that result, but if you needed more emphasis, here it was, because that wasn't close.
Mm-hmm.
And having covered that level, Region 4, for so many years, I wasn't surprised by the result. Tyvee has great teams, but they seem to struggle with whoever it ends up being, like Travis, Cedar Park, whatever. Mm-hmm. And again, this region is eminently winnable for Cedar Park, maybe more than any other team in any other region in the state. And we expect them to be at NRG. They're doing what they need to do.
I mean, right now they've just been clobbering people, and I think that they were a pick from the beginning, and I think that there's no reason to jump off that bandwagon now.
Nope.